cell phones on silent. Remain seated through the event. No whistling or ululating. And please, hold your applause until requested to do so. A very warm and hearty praising welcome to one and all. I am your host, Anusia Naidu, Head of English. It is my pleasure to share and celebrate with you the achievements and talents of the outstanding performances showcased by you, our star learners of President High School, both academically and on the sport field. This afternoon's prize giving is an extremely colossal event. Since COVID, this is the first time President High School is showcasing and celebrating accomplishments of our star achievers from grades 8 to 12, as well as our very own Banyana soccer team. The old proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, and that literally is what this afternoon is about. We honor and applaud all awardees. A hearty congratulations to all of you. You have definitely set the bar extremely high and placed President High School on the map as one of the sought-after schools in both the academic and sporting spheres. We hope that you will continue to strive and achieve brilliance through sheer hard work, perseverance, and determination that you display. Remember, every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. Without further ado, we begin the awards for the academic achievements for grade 11, our current grade 12s. I call to the stage Mr. Andre Rath, who will be assisted by Mr. Delanga.
Right, the following learners received certificates for outstanding performance and results throughout the year 2023. First one, Nurain Ahmad received certificates for EGD, life science, life orientation, mathematics, physical science, also on the academic team, 82.86%. Dora Ayab received certificates for life science, life orientation, mathematics. Kiara Arends, certificates for Afrikaans, first additional language, and life orientation. Kaiden Baker, certificate for Afrikaans first additional language. Zayan Biggers, certificate for CAT and also on the academic team. Leila Bismillah, certificates for business studies, life science, life orientation, and also on the academic team. Mohammed Bulbulia, Afrikaans and life orientation. Janice Berkey, CAT, English, Home Language, Life Science, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Physical Science, and also on the academic team. Well done. Anna Serpentine received a certificate for CAT. Sherazad Cornelson, certificates for Afrikaans, English, Life Science, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Physical Science, Visual Arts. Also received certificate for the best subject for Visual Arts. Also academically. Well done. Alia Esop, Life Orientation and Tourism. Leslie Hendricks, Certificate for Tourism. Dylan Kasson, certificates for English Home Language, EGD. Good one, well done. I'm not done yet. I'll just pause at EGD, it's a very important subject. Life Science, Life Orientation, and also certificates for best subject in EGD, Life Orientation, also on the academic team. Well done. Zohaira Khan, certificates for Afrikaans, First Additional Language, Consumer Studies, English Home Language, Life Science, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Physical Science, and certificate for the best subject in Afrikaans, First Additional Language, Consumer Studies, Life Science, Life Orientation, and also on the academic team. You need it up? Mehrab Khan, certificates for Afrikaans, First Additional Language, CAT, English Home Language, Life Science, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Physical Science, also certificate for best subject, best in subject, CAT, English Home Language, Mathematics, Physical Science, and also on the academic team. Working too hard. Josiah Begodi, certificates for Maths Lit, and also received the certificate for best subject, best in Maths Lit. Ungiwe Maboma. You must please excuse me, my eyes are just a bit blurry. Yeah, I was going to get glasses, I'm very old. Certificates for Geography, Life Orientation, Mathematics. Also certificate for the best in subject, Geography. Also on the academic team. Abdurrahman Mohammed, certificates for Business Studies and Life Orientation. Luciano Majatlari, certificates for accounting, life orientation, mathematics, and also received a certificate for the best in subject accounting. Kotlohane Molloy, certificates for life orientation, mathematics, physical science, and certificate for the best in mathematics. Walking proud. Jeline Narusami, certificate for business studies. Kugle Ndlovu, certificates for life science and life orientation. Mayana Ntuli, certificates for Afrikaans, first additional language, business studies, economics, life orientation, Maths Lit. Also received a certificate for best in business studies and economics. Also on the academic team. Sipukwazi Nzima, certificate for business studies. Abdul Patel, certificates for EGD and life orientation. Afsar Ralph, certificates for Afrikaans first additional language, CAT, life science, life orientation, mathematics, and also in the academic team. Renato Sakir, certificate for maths literacy. Cecilia Baker, certificate for business studies. Nareli Chawal, certificates for Afrikaans first additional language, life science, and life orientation.
Thank you, gentlemen. It is now my immense pleasure to announce the academic team for grade 12, grade 11. Last is grade 11, this is grade 12. I call to the stage Mrs. Sinet Ritchie, our Deputy Principal, and Mr. Andre Rath again.
Right, top 10 last year. Number 10, Bungiwe Mabona, 78.71%. Mayana Ntuli, 79.9%. Dylan Kassan, 80%. Laila Bismillah, 81.71%. Nurain Ahmad, 82%. Shirazad Cornelson, 84.86%. Hafsa Rao, 85.71%. Janice Berkey, 86.71%. Nihab Khan, 89.29%. And number one, Zuhaira Khan, 89.86%. Well done, girls.
Mr. Nath, since you did such a great job, blurry-eyed and all, we have a little token of appreciation for you. Boys and girls, on that note, while we just having a little interview, if you have booked and paid for your photo, please go outside where Ms. Slater will meet you to take your photo. Okay. Right, on that high note, the following grade 10, our current grade 11s, will receive certificates for outstanding performances and results throughout the year of 2023. I call to the stage now Mrs. Michelle Pretorius. Assisting her will be Mr. Marius Tabia, our second deputy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to announce last year's grade 10s. Brooklyn Armoud. She receives a certificate for accounting and Afrikaans first additional language. Nkwenkwezi Banka. She receives a certificate for CAT and tourism. Anushka de Bruin. Kensani Galudu receives a certificate for accounting, English home language, life orientation, and also on the academic team. Wasila Hanif receives a certificate for English, home language, and life orientation. Abdul Kachi receives a certificate for mathematical literacy, also receives a certificate for best in subject, mathematical literacy. Mohammed Kayani receives a certificate for CAT, physical science, Also a certificate Best in Subject for CAT and Physical Science, and also on the academic team. Kristlyn LaRue receives a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language. Reweditswe Lenswe receives a certificate for Business Studies, Life Orientation, also receives the certificate for the best subject, Business Studies. Fasia Mahmoud receives a certificate for Afrikaans Val, Economics, Life Science, Life Orientation, Best Subject for Economics, Life Science, Life Orientation, and also on the academic team. Well done. Boitumelo Mankwedi receives a certificate for Consumer Studies and also a certificate for Best Subject in Consumer Studies. Nzakisi Marema receives a certificate for CAT and Life Orientation. Loretta Matabela receives a certificate for English Home Language, Geography, and also Best Subject for English Home Language and Geography. Seneklanka Mshlongu Luandile Mshlope receives a certificate for Tourism and also receives the certificate for the best subject in tourism. Zina Mlambo receives a certificate for Accounting, English Home Language, Life Orientation, and also on the academic team. Tatu Modiba receives a certificate for English Home Language. Kagiso Murane receives a certificate for Accounting, Afrikaans Val, CAT, English Home Language, Life Orientation, and he is on the academic team. Fulufelo Nechongolwe receives a certificate for CAT, English Home Language, and EGD. Ilihle Shezi, she receives a certificate for Accounting, Economics, and English Home Language. Lerato Sibanda receives a certificate for Afrikaans Val, English Home Language, Life Orientation, and on the academic team. Sianda Sibisi receives a certificate for Accounting, English Home Language, Life Orientation, a certificate for the best subject in Accounting, and also on the academic team. Well done. Tondani Sigiri receives a certificate for Afrikaans Val and Life Orientation. Alisha Shurajpal receives a certificate for EGD, Visual Arts, and certificate for Best Subject, EGD, and Visual Arts. Nivea TC, she receives a certificate for Afrikaans Val. Yolisa Shabalala receives a certificate for Business Studies, Life Orientation, and also a certificate for the best subject in Business Studies. Shannon van Skulkwijk receives a certificate for Afrikaans Val and English Home Language.
Thank you, boys and girls. Once again, it's my pleasure to announce the academic team for grade 10, this year's current grade 11s. I call to the stage Mrs. Pretorius.
It is our pleasure to announce the top 10. In the 10th place is Kensani Galudu with 76.05%. In the 9th place, Lerato Sibanda with 76.76%. In the 8th place, Kwawe Tuai with 76.90%. In 7th place, Zina Mlambu with 78.24%. In 6th place, Sianda Sabisi, 78.52%. In 5th place, Pajutetso Nezengani with 78.86%. In 4th place, Kanyasile Ndebele with 80.76%. In 3rd place, Kagiso Moriane with 82.33%. In 2nd place, Mohammed Kayani with 82.76%. And in 1st place, Fasia Mahmoud with 84.95%. Well done.
small token of appreciation for you. Okay, we're going through this very well. I would now like to, we're now going to congratulate our grade 9s, our current grade 10s. I would like to call Mr. Corné Janssen van Rensburg, who will be assisted by Mrs. Jackie van Zyl, and Ms. Hanneke Neefelen will be assisted by Mr. Jakub Poschus.
Good afternoon, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It is also a pleasure for me to read the names of the current grade 10s, grade 9s of last year. First up, receiving a certificate is Alicia Bufat. She receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, EMS, Social Science, Technology. She also received a certificate for Best Subject in Creative Arts, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, and Technology. Very well done. Alicia Bufat received a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, EMS, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, and Technology. Well done. Catherine van Riesen receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, and Life Orientation. Chantal Jidombo receiving a certificate for Creative Arts and English. Razin Jogley received a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Mathematics, and Social Science. Suraya Sani Danpula received a certificate for Creative Arts, English, Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, and Technology. Well done. Stephen Davids received the certificate for Afrikaans First Regional Language, Creative Arts, and English. Additional language, well done. Miriam Dinath right in Ribone, Vicenzo, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts and English, Mathematics, Social Science, and Technology. Zaya Ghani received a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language. Monek Arukawa received a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Mohammed Hafaji received a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Social Science, and Technology. Taryn Henry receiving a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Creative Arts, EMS, English, Life Orientation, and Technology. Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. Firdaus Kasiji, receiving a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics and Technology. Kiara Kassim, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science and Technology. Mohamed Kachi, receiving a certificate for EMS, Mathematics, Life Orientation, Natural Science and Social Science. Aidan Kennel, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation and Technology. Apule Langa, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Pile Lebia, receiving a certificate for Technology. Etokuhle Mabuya, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. Seri Mailani, receiving a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Creative Arts, English Home Language and Social Science. Simeka Mahungo, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation and Social Science. Ayanda Malakwani, receiving a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation and Technology. Jade Molgas, receiving certificates for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Jordan Mumphrey, receiving certificates for Creative Arts, EMS, English Home Language and Mathematics. Tipiso Makabe, receiving certificates for Life Orientation and Technology. Bahumi Masisanyani, receiving certificate for Natural Science. Wabili Machinani, receiving certificates for Creative Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. Spulelo Mduli, receiving certificates for Creative Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. I'm now going to hand over to Mrs. Hanneke Middelen.
Inga Mjoleni, I received a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. I thought I'm reading the wrong name when you were coming because I'm not sure. Mark Moodley receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science and Technology. Well done. Tilimalo Mpalele receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation and Natural Science. Mukundi Nemabaka receive a certificate for creative arts and English home language. Vulenga Mnechituni receives a certificate for life orientation, mathematics and natural science. Omolemon Bobo receives a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Creative Arts, EMS, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics and Social Science. Well done. Zamabumbum Gubane receives a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Receive a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Social Science and Technology. Kaylin Oakley, Mathematics and Social Science. Asipikle Nene Alia Mutara receive a certificate for English Home Language and Creative Arts. Jaden Morgan Lemokham Parker receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Kylie Belay receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Dorothy Pule receive a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation and Technology. Kupalu Radeve receive a certificate for Natural Science. Lesejo Raleru receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Risha Rashid receive a certificate for English Home Language. Hannah Ru receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Muhammad Satan receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Soliega Simji receive a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Gabrielle Suku receives a certificate for Afrikaans First Additional Language, Creative Arts, EMS, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science and Technology. Well done. Melia Sullivan receive a certificate for EMS, Mathematics and Natural Science. Jade Todd receive a certificate for English Home Language and Life Orientation. Sinia Valley receives a certificate for creative arts, EMS, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Natural Science, Social Science, Technology. She also receives a certificate for Best Subject in EMS. Well done. Nikita van Zweel receives a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Shalom Zendere receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. Sharon Zendere receives a certificate for Creative Arts and English Home Language. Rudo Zungu receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language and Life Orientation. Jaden Morgan, I apologize that I did not read what you received. I was so preoccupied with handing the certificate over. So can I please just quickly say Jaden Morgan received already a certificate for Creative Arts, English Home Language, Life Orientation, Social Science and Technology.
Thank you, Ms. Evelyn, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We also have a token of appreciation for all of you. Thank you. We will now congratulate our grade 8s of last year, our current grade 9s. I'd like to call Mr. Hein Bernardi, who will present the awards, with Ms. Aniska Peters, as well as Mrs. Chantal de Kock, who will be assisted by Mr. Bertus Language.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Sorry, I just need to quickly do something. This is very far in my new classes. Alright, I'm going to start with the first name, Rumaisa Ahmed. Certificate for Afrikaans, Creative Arts, EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, Technology. Also receives the Best Subject for Creative Arts, Natural Science and Social Science. Zara Ahmad, Certificate for English. Louis Ashinze, Certificate for EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science and Technology. Jaden Balraj, Certificate for Mathematics, Natural Science and Technology. Leah Besaidnout, Certificate for Creative Arts, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics and Technology. Lita Billy, Certificate for Creative Arts, EMS, English, Mathematics and Natural Science. Luca Boza, a certificate for mathematics. Tegan Blankies, a certificate for mathematics. Malia Bulbulia Budai, certificate for creative arts, English, life orientation, natural science, technology. Tony Burgers, a certificate for English. Oratile Chakela, certificate for EMS, English and mathematics. Shaddai Chirwa, certificate for creative arts, EMS, English, life orientation. Kutluano Chuene, certificate for English. Aaron Clarivet, certificate for creative arts and English. Mudondi Dagume, certificate for EMS, mathematics, natural science and technology. Precious Dauda, certificate for EMS, English, mathematics and natural science. Lyle Desai, a certificate for mathematics. Tatu Dakota, certificate for mathematics. Jaden Dutoy, certificate for EMS and English. Colin Esau, certificate for English and technology. Milani Gogocha, certificate for EMS, English and mathematics. Drayden Govender, certificate for mathematics. Nonjabulo Gumede, certificate for mathematics and natural sciences. Luandile Flomela, certificate for English, life orientation, mathematics and natural science. Makhoso Flongwane, certificate for creative arts, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science, social science and technology. Kindness Yeme, certificate for creative arts and English. Michael Jacobs, certificate for life orientation and mathematics. Zainab Javed, certificate for Afrikaans, creative arts, EMS, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science and technology. She also receives a certificate for best subject in Afrikaans, EMS and life orientation. Onesime Kalonda, certificate for natural science. Warabile Kekana, certificate for mathematics. Boitumelo Khomo. Certificate for EMS, English, Mathematics, Natural Science. Ayman Khan. Certificate for Creative Arts, EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, and Technology. Yasira Khan. Certificate for EMS, Life Orientation, Natural Science, and Technology. Nakisani Kanje. Certificate for Creative Arts and Mathematics. Rianzu Koza. Certificate for English, Mathematics, Natural Science. King Kilele. Certificate for EMS, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Amukalani Kiti. Certificate for Creative Arts, EMS, English, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Also receives a certificate for the base subject, Technology. Ashland Klaassen. Certificate for Afrikaans, English, Life Orientation. Onkabetse Kumane. Certificate for Mathematics. Akwande Koto. Certificate for English, Life Orientation, and Technology. Siantanda Lavuno. Certificate for EMS and Life Orientation. Annalisha Machede. Certificate for EMS, English, Life Orientation, and Natural Science. Sorry, so I think I skipped you or missed you, or Atiwe Maega. Certificate for English, Mathematics, Natural Science. Isa Mahmood. Certificate for English, Mathematics, and Natural Science. Alia Mohammed. Certificate for English, Life Orientation, and Natural Science. Letabu Makalolisa. Certificate for Creative Arts, EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Social Science. Montati Makasani. Certificate for English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Keratili Makuka. Certificate for English. Emile Manyatela. Certificate for EMS, English, Life Orientation, and Technology. Ayanda Manzini. Certificate for Mathematics. Katlego Makoto. Certificate for English. Achisanang Mashigo, certificate for life orientation and technology. Mpomati Danisani Matei receives a certificate, firstly, for English. Lipo Matlare, certificate for English, mathematics and natural science. Klamulo Mboweni, certificate for mathematics. Emigle Manlose, certificate for English and mathematics. Rehutabetse Ndluli, certificate for creative arts, EMS, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science, social science, and technology. I'll now hand over to Mrs. The Cook and helping her, Mr. Language.
Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Muniba Mia receives a certificate for creative arts, EMS, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science, social science, and technology. She is also part of the academic top 10. Yusuf Mia receives a certificate for English, life orientation, and technology. Huda Miller receives a certificate. No, Huda Miller. Okay. Letabo Mnguni receives a certificate for English, EMS, mathematics, natural science, social science, and technology. Also part of the academic top 10. Lindelwa Manisi receives a certificate for mathematics. Tumi Modise receives a certificate for mathematics. Mpumetse Modotu receives a certificate for EMS, mathematics and natural science. Kumo Muhammad receives a certificate for mathematics. Bonolo Muela receives a certificate for creative arts, English, life orientation, mathematics and natural science. Lenswe Mokutsane receives a certificate for English. Bontle Molapisi receives a certificate for mathematics. Naledi Monaching receives a certificate for life orientation, mathematics and technology. Megan Monteith receives a certificate for English, EMS, mathematics and natural science. Uthman Mula receives a certificate for English. Juwaira Mula receives a certificate for Afrikaans, Creative Arts, EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, Natural Science, Social Science, and Technology. She also receives a certificate for Best Subject in EMS, English, and Mathematics. She's also part of the academic top 10. Laika Musa receives an award or certificate for creative arts and life orientation. Ditebogo Mpela receives a certificate for mathematics. Tegofatso Mapeinya receives a certificate for EMS, English, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Ntukozo Mputi receives a certificate for Mathematics. Asibe Mkwambeli receives a certificate for Technology. Muhammad Mughal receives a certificate for Mathematics. Fulufelo Malautsi receives a certificate for Mathematics. Nishlan Naidu receives a certificate for Creative Arts, English, Natural Science, and Technology. Marimecha Mfale receives a certificate for EMS, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Rafilwe Ngombela receives a certificate for Creative Arts, EMS, English, Mathematics, and Natural Science. Ndivu Ntsheni receives a certificate for English and Mathematics. Tumelo Ngumbeni receives a certificate for Mathematics. Tembani Nkosi receives a certificate for EMS, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Chimolojo Nkosi receives a certificate for English, Mathematics, and Natural Science. Tangulwetu Mtalu receives a certificate for EMS, English, Life Orientation, Mathematics, and Natural Science. Nsiba Nwamusi receives a certificate for Mathematics and Natural Science. Nikhil Pariachi receives a certificate for English, Mathematics, Natural Science, and Technology. Afifa Banu Patan receives a certificate for Creative Arts, Life Orientation, Mathematics, and Natural Science. Kiara Betswe Peter receives a certificate for English and Mathematics. Chiara Pillay receives a certificate for creative arts. Darshan Pillay receives a certificate for life orientation and technology. Pabalo Ponzo receives a certificate for creative arts, EMS, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science, and social science. Tyrese Bakri receives a certificate for English and mathematics. Unapi Rakhogo receives a certificate for English. Siapole Ramalepe receives a certificate for mathematics. Clafelo Rapuleng receives a certificate for English, life orientation, and natural science. Hailey Rue receives a certificate for creative arts, life orientation, and mathematics. Dense Sadiki receives a certificate for mathematics. Zara Saluji receives a certificate for mathematics. Fatimu Sanibaku receives a certificate for English and mathematics. Muhammad Sidat receives a certificate for creative arts, EMS, English, mathematics, and natural science. Muhammad Sheikh receives a certificate for EMS, English, life orientation, mathematics, natural science, social science, and technology. Aliza Sheikh Mula receives a certificate for English and technology. Nico Shiawu receives a certificate for creative arts, English, and mathematics. Linda Kuchle Shobede receives a certificate for English. Ndi Dukona Sekidi receives a certificate for Afrikaans, EMS, English, mathematics, and natural science. Uyanda Slatter receives a certificate for mathematics. Zakia Tar receives a certificate for English. Kananela Tsekisu receives a certificate for English and natural science. Letronono Teletsane receives a certificate for mathematics. Alyssa J. Trompeter receives a certificate for EMS and English. Kaylee van Skalkwijk receives a certificate for English, mathematics, and natural science. Jian Hong Ye receives a certificate for EMS, English, Mathematics, and Technology. Savele Zwane receives a certificate for Mathematics and Natural Science. Thank you, guys.
Well done, boys and girls. And just to congratulate our great heads, Mrs. Lecoq and Mr. Bernardi, who's taken us to greater heights this afternoon. I don't need it, they do. We have something for them as well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think you should all give yourselves a round of applause. With that being said, we're going to sit through another 5 items. I'm only joking. Our last item on the program this evening is quite a kicker. Excuse the pun. The Prezi girls soccer team has done exceptionally well and won the league in 2023. To announce the winners of the team, I call Mrs. Karika Delanga. Assisting her will be Mrs. Maria Vieira, and Mr. Masakela will also join the team on stage.
Boys and girls, can we kindly ask the soccer girls to just stand up and go and line up there in the middle before I announce you? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now be announcing our soccer stars of 2023. Megan Ray Monty receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Letobu Makalulisa receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Kananelo Tekiso receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Mokotso Longwane receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, and a scroll. the team, league winners, and a scroll. Tony Burgers receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, best progress player, and a scroll. Kinsani Longwane receives a certificate for 1 year in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Naledi Khajane receives a certificate for 2 years in the team, league winners, and a scroll. And a few injuries, I see. In 2 week Temba Motawu receives a certificate for 2 years in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Sinentlantla Ngwenya receives a certificate for 2 years in the team, league winners, best promising player, and a scroll. Zoe Abdul receives a certificate for 2 years in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Pepile Mazibuko receives a certificate for 2 years in the team, league winners, and a scroll. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Mrs. Delamba. Everybody scores here, so we also got a token of appreciation for you. Mr. Benani will now do the vote of thanks.
It's my second time that I'm doing this. Mrs. Fenter and Mrs. Berry know how much I love my own voice, so that's why they asked me again. I would like to acknowledge, firstly, our principal, Mr. Q. De Lange. I would rather now say, not so De Lange. And also the deputy principals, Ms. Ritchie and Mrs. De Beer, for handing out of the awards and certificates and for overall guidance. Secondly, I would like to thank Mrs. A. Naidu, our Mistress of Ceremonies. Again, all the teachers that are still single, she will MC your wedding for free. So just remember to ask. All the teachers involved in the ceremony with the reading of the names and for the handing out of the certificates, in no particular order, Ms. Peters, Mrs. De Kok, Mr. Language, Mr. Janssen van Rensburg, Mrs. J. van Zyl, Ms. Neefling, Mr. Portius, Mrs. M. Pretorius, Mr. Raad, and Mrs. Sia de Lange, Mrs. Vieira, Mr. Magasela, and last but definitely not least, Mr. Benani. Then I would like to thank Mr. Portius for switching on the sound. And also Mr. Snyders for playing that song on repeat the whole way. I would also like to thank Ms. Malan for the help with the sorting of the certificates. Sorry, someone phoned me. Ms. Malan for the sorting of the certificates, and Mrs. C. Dupree for helping with creating the certificates. for Tani Colleen in the office for printing of the certificates. Next, thank you to Mrs. Thorn for taking the photos, and for Mr. Travers, who is doing the live streaming. Just a note there, Mr. Porteous and Mr. Snyder, that's how a tech guy looks. Next one, Mrs. Vanika. I think I should have put some jam on mine. I'll sort that out next time. Then, for all the learners who received awards and for also attending, thank you very much for your hard work and dedication throughout the academic year of last year. Also, all the teachers and parents who played a role in all the learners' achievements and for attending the ceremony as well. For Pete and his team for cleaning the hall and also packing the chairs. And for anyone else that was perhaps not mentioned, a big thank you. We really appreciate the help. And then definitely last but not least, I would like to thank Mrs. Fenter and Mrs. Derry again for writing this wonderful speech that I'm saying, and also for organizing the award ceremony. Thank you very much.